What's up, family? Welcome back to another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host and international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker. Now, each and every time I say that, I get a little more pumped up, and it's just amazing to me that to know that I came from a hospital bed, unable to walk, and look where I am now. And I just want to say that you guys can really accomplish anything. Look, if I did it after all I've been through, then you can definitely do it. So just hang in there and realize that things are possible. The word impossible says I am possible. But I was planning on having a great show for you tonight on the third episode of season 10 of Make Every Second Count Live. And I have been talking to my guests and I was all excited about it. And then she's not here. It's strange. But oh well, so I will survive. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about, but oh well. Oh wait, there she is. Oh, hi Kelly.
Jeff, how are
So,
you?
first of all, I need to say thank you guys so much all for tuning in. Please like and share this episode. Invite all your friends to watch it. And don't forget you can tag them in the comments. Keep the likes coming though. Show us that we're actually making a difference. And please don't forget that you can just keep commenting. We want to have more of a conversation than making a presentation. Now, quick question for you, Kelly.
Quick answer.
How do you say your last name?
Rhine, like the river in Germany, but with a Y instead of an I.
All right. Well, I was curious because I didn't want to mess it up. But I need to say hello to my dad who says, "Hello everyone." He's actually watching from across the street right now.
I love it.
And then we have Doug Fosnight, who's watching us. He's a photographer here in my hometown of Pickle, Ohio.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
thank you so much for watching, Doug. Hope you enjoyed the episode. So, first of all, Kelly, I have to ask, can you go through a short introduction about yourself? Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do now. And then we will jump into everything after that.
Yeah, so my name is Kelly. I am originally from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, right next door to you in Ohio. And I came out of the womb singing and dancing. Like I had
Yeah.
aspirations of Broadway and all those fun things. I got my BFA in music theater, and then I felt pulled and called to go to seminary, and ultimately ended up in Atlanta, Georgia, because of that and working in ministry. But then realizing I was being pulled even further into a call to help people heal, and do some deep healing. And I worked as a chaplain in the hospital, and then
Awesome.
ended up working with a disability nonprofit and doing justice work. But I was like, I miss this one-on-one work, and I felt really pulled to help people really heal from trauma. And so I went back and got another degree and got my master of social work.
Are
I have
you
3 degrees.
crazy?
I know. I hate school and I have 2 master's degrees. I'm like, "Who am I?" Um,
Good
and
question.
so I got my master of social work, and now I am a, trauma and grief therapist specializing in estrangement grief.
That is wonderful. I'm sure you were able to help a lot of people in that field, and I find it weird. Like you had a calling, and you found that calling, or that calling found you. I'm not sure which,
All the
but
above.
it's just awesome the way it worked out like that.
Yes.
So I know from my own personal journey of being in the hospital 3.5 months after a severe car accident, in a coma 2.5 months, and told I wouldn't walk again, that people go through all kinds of things in life. And that oftentimes these things seem like they're there to stop us from climbing the ladder of success, and to stop us from getting to higher heights in life. And I've learned that that's not true. That oftentimes those things are put there in our way to teach us something. And if we grow through whatever that is, instead of just going around it or trying to figure out our way through it, but we actually learn from it and grow, then we actually improve and our life gets better. So,
Yeah.
is there anything that you have had to grow through?
Wow, where do I even begin? There's so many things, but I just first off have to say, like, I love what you just said, and something I was literally just writing about at some point in the past 24 hours was that our past, like the mistakes and the difficulties that we've gone through, and the joys and all of it, it turns into fertilizer, and
Yeah.
it gives us nutrition for those next blooms and those deepening of the roots.
Wow,
Um,
that's
and
fantastic. I've never heard that, but
yeah,
wow, that actually makes a lot of sense for what
yeah,
I my analogy. I
yeah. Like
like
some
it.
things have to die in order for other things to bloom, right?
Yeah,
And the things
true.
that die turn into the fertilizer, into the dirt
Yeah,
that allows it to take root. Um, and so, like for me, the literal room that I am sitting in right now is because of a death.
aw,
Not an actual death, but a significant loss, in, my career where I was set up to do, like, what in my, like, opinion was a dream job for me. I was working as a school-based therapist. I was extremely happy in my job. I loved the work I was doing with high school students and being able to be, like, on the front lines. Like, my therapy office was in the high school. So, like, when stuff happened, I could intervene with the teachers. I could go talk to the principal, right?
yeah,
And I loved the work I was doing, and I was really good at it. And at the same time, I was dealing with a lot of stuff at home. My dad was in the middle of transitioning from this life to the next after a long battle with Alzheimer's, and he passed away. And um, in the midst of that, I was completing my autism diagnosis.
wait a minute, wait a minute.
I know.
I don't wanna just go nonchalantly over that. I want to actually ask you a little bit about that, because
Yeah.
that's a little crazy. So, what are you talking about? Autism diagnosis?
Yeah. So many people who meet me, um, are usually surprised when I tell them that I am autistic and ADHD, like officially fully diagnosed. And then I really surprise them when I tell them I was diagnosed with level 2 autism. They're like, "I'm sorry, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, my support needs are level 2." Yeah, it doesn't look like you think it looks like all the time. And and so I was it's honestly like my dad's passing and my autism journey are all connected because I started to realize that I had, like, put on this whole mask that was my mom, and, as I started to take this mask down and pursue this diagnosis, I started to realize I was more like my dad than I thought, and through getting this autism diagnosis, I started to connect to him more, I started to understand him more. He was never diagnosed, but that's all I'm g there's genetics with these things, and so it was very much like a journey of deepening my relationship with my dad, but it was also a deepening of a relationship with myself and who I was. And so I decided, even though I'm in my 30s, I'm like, No, I need the affirmation, I need the confirmation, and I need the accommodations. And so I decided to pursue the diagnosis. I always tell people don't pursue diagnoses unless you need accommodations because it's a process, and it costs a lot of money too.
Yeah.
Um, and so, but at this time, like I was realizing I really needed the accommodations at work. Like it was coming to a head because I was dealing with so much stress at home. My symptoms of being autistic were showing in the admin part of the workplace, not in the therapist part. And so I decided to pursue accommodations, and I unfortunately was met with a lot of ableism, which I didn't expect because
All
I
right.
was
Hold
working in a
on.
mental health nonprofit.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute. You say ableism. May
Mhm.
may I ask what you actually mean by that? So, all right, on this show, I like to try and make things as simple for people as I can.
Yeah.
Now, while I say that I like to make things simple for other people, I'm often adjusting them and making them simpler for me because I really don't understand some things. So, if you could explain what ableism is.
Yeah. So ableism is essentially when you experience discrimination based on a disability. Or you experience a microaggression, which is like when someone is doing something kind of mean and it might be kind of passive and small, but it adds up and it hurts
Yeah.
nonetheless. And so I was experiencing a lot of these things in my workplace, despite the fact that it was a mental health nonprofit who is supporting people with these things. And um I I was met with a lot, of, uh, kickback, um, where, I thought that I was just going for, like, a traditional accommodations meeting, which to my understanding should have been very straightforward, but was met with, like, every single leadership member and an extra HR member.
That's weird. And
Yeah,
you
I was
said this was a disability, uh,
a mental health nonprofit, yeah.
a mental health nonprofit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like wonder why that would be. Like they work so hard to be for mental health, but they're not really supporting it as
Yeah,
much
and
as they say. It's
Yeah, and what
weird.
really hurt too is that this organization really founded themselves on being a trauma-informed organization, not just in regards to approach to clients, but to employees as well. And this was not my experience whatsoever. It was the exact opposite. Um, I was immediately after my HR meeting, which was filled with a lot of, well, if we do that for you, we have to do it for everyone else. And I'm like, that's not how accommodations work.
Yeah. I
Um,
I know when I went through college, some college, I didn't graduate. Just I'm just telling
yet,
everybody
I always
that
like to
I
say.
didn't graduate. I'm not like her, but I had an IEP, which is an
Yep,
individual education plan,
yep,
also known as accommodations.
correct.
So we all experience the need of accommodations at times. Sometimes certain people's accommodations are just more than other people's,
Yeah.
but it's there for everyone.
It's there to level the playing field, so to speak, and make it accessible for you to work and be healthy doing it and not push yourself past your mental, emotional, spiritual limits, right?
Yeah,
And the thing is all the people I'm sitting in a room with are all people who sit in IEP meetings on a regular basis.
that's weird.
So it was wild. It was wild behavior. And the the week after that meeting, the week after I thought I was meeting with them to discuss, like, what my, accommodations would be and sign, like, final documents and all of that and, like, how we put them into place, and then come to find that they are reprimanding me.
That's when I would be calling a lawyer.
Oh, I did. That's the problem. This is why I got met with what I got met with because I had worked for the statewide independent living council of
Um,
Georgia.
All
I
right.
know all of the people. I know the disability law office. I literally know the lawyers. Like, and so I called people and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. And they're like, document, document, document. Literally capture everything you possibly can. We're not going to pursue anything yet, but just keep documenting.
Yeah.
That was part one. Then a few months later, I kind of stepped back and I was just like, I'm just going through the motions. I'm just trying to survive. This is all while my dad, like, this is a month, 2 months after my dad passed, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's bad timing.
Yeah. So that's what made it even more wild is like, y'all, I literally just went through almost 20 years of caregiving for my father with dementia who just passed away. And you're acting like this. Thank you for the prayers. And a few months later, I started to realize that my issue with admin was actually potentially not just an autism thing. It was actually a physical disability issue that was coming into play.
Aw.
And a lot of times people don't know this, but like with autism, there ends up being a lot of like crossover things that happen that they just haven't like fully researched or understood yet. But for me, I was having issues with my eyes. And so, yes, it does. Dementia definitely sucks. Yeah, that's a whole nother episode. And but like I ended up realizing I was having issues with my eyes and I went to go get it diagnosed and came home with like literally a page of diagnoses for my eyes and being asked to do eye therapy, which I was like, oh, that's a thing. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. It's a real thing.
It's physical therapy, but for your eyes,
Yes,
basically.
I have experienced like all that.
Yep.
I've been in physical therapy now for 24 years.
Wow.
So I know a little bit about that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I went back to my job and I said, "Hey, I need, accommodations for my eyes, and I need to do written notes." Now, anywhere else in the world, be like, "That's a reasonable accommodation." Not my place of employment.
That's wild though,
I
because
know.
what the place was and everything, that's just so weird to me.
Yeah, and, like, it's so frustrating because it's like, y'all know we did this job before computers, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've been taking notes physically for decades as therapists, and you're telling me I can't write them down and upload them to the file. Like, that's not the same thing. How is that not the same thing? Like, and so, but this like went through like a whole convoluted thing, which I won't get into, but I essentially worked without an accommodation for like 2 months. And was getting very behind, was very sick and in pain, and eventually got reprimanded again. And I was like, I'm done with this. And my eye doctor, I was like, I didn't even think about it. Why did I even think about this? I need to ask for short-term disability if they're not going to do this. And so I got my doctor to write me short-term disability note and submitted it and was out for a month. But what was wild is when I submitted it, my supervisor at the time was like, "Oh yeah, when I first started working here, I actually had to go on short-term disability because I couldn't use the computer." And I was like, "You didn't want to say that the first time I brought this up. You let me work for 2 months in pain
Yeah.
and
That's
then reprimanded me." Like, and so I literally, y'all, this is what it looks like when you are pushed too far by a job. I slept for 13, 14 hours a day for the first week I was on short-term disability.
it's crazy.
That is what burnout looks like. That
Yeah.
is what burnout looks like. I tell people all the time, as a therapist, like your body can only do so much before it's going to give up. And
Yeah.
it's going to say, I need rest. And mine hit that point. And I took that time to kind of recenter and recalibrate. And I just was like, okay, so do I stay working for this organization who is discriminating against me constantly?
I
and
would.
risk getting fired when I come back, which is there was smells of that, and then having to sue them because honestly, I at that point I had more than enough evidence to do it. Um, but I was like, do I have the energy? Do I have the energy? Do I really want to put my energy into that? Because I had a friend who was going through a lawsuit for another reason, but similar vein, and like literally years in, right? I'm like, I don't want to go through all of that. And so I decided to start my own private practice. Um, literally out my butt.
Great
Like,
job. I'm proud of you.
thank you. And I'm now I left them and I've been in my business for a little over a year now. Um and I have a wait list.
Yes. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you, like, when hi Casey, huh? I don't know how to say that last name, but hi Casey. Um, so I like this. Robert is saying in the comments that oh darn it, the power of writing things down. It's really powerful. I know my speaking coach, Dr. Ruben West, always says that the hand is the digital recorder for the mind.
Yeah. Too bad they wouldn't let me use it.
Yeah. And Doug says, good for you.
Thank you.
So people are really understanding where you're coming from. And I like that when people actually understand where people are coming from. It opens the world up to more connections. I like
Yes.
that. So, like, so you decided that if they weren't going to give you accommodations, you were going to make your own.
Literally. Literally, I'm
That
like,
that
well, I guess I
that
just have
is
to be my own boss.
that is brave. That is brave. Congratulations. I'm proud of you
Thank
for
you.
that. Seriously.
Thank you.
Stepped out on faith.
Yeah,
That's pretty
literally. Like I
awesome.
felt like, I'm such a nerd. I'm outing myself. If you're a nerd, I see you. I am you. Um, but I felt a little bit like Indiana Jones in the third film, Last Crusade, when he is at that leap of faith part to save his father, and he just sees a big open crevice and has to take a step forward, but there is rock there despite it looking like you're just going to fall to your death. And it felt very much like that at that moment.
That's great analogy.
Yeah.
I appreciate your analogies and helping people to understand. So the what is what how were you able to find your own accommodations? You said that when we talked earlier that you wore a mask, and when you got the diagnosis, it was like unmasking yourself. So
Yes.
what did you do differently once you got the diagnosis compared to what you were trying to do before?
Yeah, so like my whole life, I was walking through the world with no words or answers for why I was the way I was, right? Like
Yeah.
I was walking through the world push with the world like fighting against me tooth and nail because my brain did not work the way that the systems were set up um for someone to be successful. And I literally remember like my mom told me a story about like my when I was in second grade that she had a meeting with my second grade teacher. And this second grade teacher, before they had my class, was actually working in like special ed, which I don't like that name, but this is what people know it as. And she said to my mom that I would never have friends.
Yeah. Why do people feel the need to assign a label like that or tell somebody that they're not going to be able to do something? Look,
Right.
when I was going through all my therapy after my accident, if I had listened to people, I wouldn't even be walking right now.
Right.
I would
Exactly.
still be in a dang wheelchair.
Yeah.
And you have friends, right?
Oh, I have a lot of friends.
See? The people were wrong. And
Exactly.
but if you had believed those people, which many people do, then where would you be now?
Right. I think like looking back on that, I think that she misspoke. What she meant was I was never going to have neurotypical friends because I have a whole lot of neurodivergent ones. And I'm totally fine with that.
Oh,
We
that's
get
all right.
along. We nerd out together, right? And so,
Good.
but that's like kind of how my life was. Like elementary school, middle school, school was war for me. It was so hard. And I I came to realize that like I was putting on this like I got a theater degree. I
A
am I'm a
theater
I'm a
degree?
I have a BFA in music theater, and so I literally got a degree in how to human is my joke. Like
That's
I was
all
like,
right.
I don't know how they want me to do this. So someone give me some acting skills because I'm doing everything wrong. And so
Yeah.
I found a lot of comfort in like, learning how to create characters and whole beings and like creating these masks and these personas because it was how I survived the world. But then, I get to this place, I had a lot of lessons. I made a lot of fertilizer, a lot of things died. And I came to realize that like my plants were not blossoming the way that they could blossom, right? They were like, doop. But I'm like, these could be big, massive sunflowers if I, remove some of this toxicity from this soil. And like for me, that was what the unmasking was. Like it, and some people talk about like when you get diagnosed that there is a skill regression that happens, but it's a very ableist neurotypical kind of mindset because it's not actually a skill regression. What it is it's acceptance, it's self-acceptance. It's this is what my body and my being prefers to do and how to do it. You just want me to do it that way. And I get a lot of I'm a huge reader and I am a massive Fourth Wing fan. And I didn't even realize when I read that book that the writer had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but I immediately smelled it because the lead character, Violet, literally is like disabled coded character, very breakable, like should not be doing things as a soldier, but is forced by her mother to go be a dragon rider and somehow manages to survive and bring on two dragons. And she does this because she originally studied to be a scribe and she knows all of the rules. And so everyone tells her, no, you have to do it this way. And it's like, this is actually what the rule book says. I can do the parapet this way. You all just do it this way. And that's what it's like. It's challenging. It's getting creative about is it really one way or are there 20 ways that no one's taking a chance at that might actually even be
Yeah.
more efficient and better for everyone, not just for me?
That is a great little talk right there that you just opened up. So I really do find everything you say to be awesome. I mean, I don't understand a lot of it, but it's cool. Um So, I also want to point out that Doug Fosnight said that everyone needs to accept people the way that they are. I like that. That's
Yeah.
very true. So, do you happen to have suggestions for somebody else that is going through something like something like that, that they have to do things a certain way, and it's just weird, and everybody else kind of makes fun of them.
Yeah. Um, I would I would say first off, challenge them.
Challenge.
Challenge them to think outside of the box. Like, just because something was done this way for so long does not mean it needs to be done this way forever. And maybe, like, what have you tried to do it this way? It might actually be easier. Do you want to try it out with me? Because the thing is like, folks in the disability community, like, we find creative and innovative ways to do things more efficiently. Listen, I tell people all the time, you're sleeping on having a stool in the shower. You don't have to be a wheelchair user. Having a stool in the shower is life-changing, okay? Like, there
Actually, I had one for a while, but I I don't know. I got to the point where I I felt I didn't need it anymore. So
yeah. Well, I'm giving you permission to bring it back and just sit in the dang water and let it flow. You don't have to stand in water. You can sit in water. No one says you have to stand in the water. In fact, we used to take baths. Why do we have to stand in water? And like, so there's, I also think about ramps, right? We think ramps are for wheelchairs. No, they're also for Amazon. They're also for
yeah.
my sad little Shih Tzu who doesn't want to take the stairs because he's a little blind. They're like, there's strollers, right? Like, there's so many uses for a ramp that make life more efficient for everyone. It's never just isolated just for me. If you open up your mind, you might actually appreciate this and use it yourself.
I like that. So challenge people more. So if you feel differently or people are making fun of you, don't feel bad about challenging your own thinking by challenging their thinking.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate you being on here so much, and I know that we're out of time. It's gone really fast, but do you happen to have any contact information you would like people to have?
Yeah, so I put my little handle down here. So on all the social fun things, I'm at the quirky queer Therowitch. But my business is giventolovetherapeutics.com. And so you can contact me through there. And I'm in the middle of actually writing and launching some work on estrangement grief right now. And I'm planning to do some promo for that very soon in the next few months. So if you want to follow me on the things, then you'll be in the know when I finally drop them. If you're
That
interested in estrangement grief.
that is awesome. But I have to go back now for a second
Yeah.
because we actually have a question. So
Yes.
did you ever feel isolated? I mean, when what isolated you the most?
Oh, any, mini, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. I mean, first off, just my job alone was naturally isolating because um, you're working for an organization, but you're technically working in the high school, but you don't work for the county. And
Yes.
so it's already kind of isolating to begin with. And during this period of time, I had been abandoned by my co-therapist at both high schools that I was working. So I was completely by myself as the entity representation of my organization there. And like, when I was dealing with all of the kickback, I felt like none of my management was supporting me whatsoever. It felt like they wanted me to quit or they wanted me to get fired. Like, it felt extremely isolating. And uh I think, like, also, like, even though, like, I think what was even more frustrating to me was that I had all this knowledge. I had worked for a disability nonprofit, right? So all I could think of is I'm imagining what would have been like trying to do this and I didn't have the knowledge I had and I'm getting all of this.
Yeah.
Like that is wild. But I will say this, how did I get out of the isolation? I started talking to other coworkers. I started finding out that my story was not isolated, that there were other people experiencing things in their own ways, and that I was not alone. And in fact, there's a whole bunch of us that have since left the organization and we all still chat and we laugh about the times. The times. But like if I hadn't asked, if I hadn't like started to share, if I had kept quiet, I never would have found out that it was more than just me. And so this is why I tell people all the time, you know, with, being careful and selective, ask other people. What are they experiencing? You don't have to necessarily say what's happening directly to you. Just like, hey, like, what do you think about this manager? Like, have you had any good encounters? Have you had some not so good encounters? Like, see if you're actually alone in this, because you might not be, because there's power in numbers. If there's a much bigger problem at hand and you have data,
Yeah.
you're going to win every time. Definitely ask others. Yeah.
Wow. I appreciate that advice. And we have a comment here from Doug. It says we all need friends to help us get through.
Yes.
So yeah,
Definitely.
he understands what you're talking about. So I need everybody out there, including you, Kelly, Miss Rhyne, German with a Y. But I need you to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when the seconds will run out on your one life. And that's all you get. Just that one.
Yep.
I'll see you guys back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until then, have a fantastic week. Thank you again, Kelly. And Robert says thank you both.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me. It was so nice being here.
You have a great night.
You too.